High-altitude trekking and mountaineering have grown massively in popularity over the past 3 decades. But what are some of the major physical changes when you return back home to lower altitudes? In today's video, we'll explore a study tracking mountaineers at sea level both before and after expeditions to 7,000-meter peaks. What happens to your body composition, your blood, and your ability to exercise? Even before the first successful ascent of Mount Everest in 1953 by Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, high mountains have held a special fascination for humans. More people each year are joining mountaineering and high-altitude trekking expeditions. Along with cold temperatures, the fundamental challenge of high mountains is the lower atmospheric pressure and oxygen availability. We respond to these stressors both acutely and over the course of an extended expedition, which can last from weeks to months. Since the 1960s, scientists have studied these effects during either extended scientific expeditions at altitude, or else by simulating them inside environmental chambers. Surprisingly, relatively fewer studies have tracked climber responses once they return back to their homes at lower altitudes. There are many interesting questions to consider, including changes to body composition, blood values, and aerobic and anaerobic exercise capacity. In 2021, a Polish research group tracked 10 mountaineers who took part in 2 expeditions to Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. The blue and red lines represent the daily altitude profiles of the 2 expeditions. We can see that, while the peaks were quite a bit lower at 7,000 to 7,500 meters than Mount Everest at 8,800 meters, the expedition was very challenging because they climbed not 1 but 2 peaks above 7,000 meters. Overall, they spent 30 days above 3,500 meters, averaging 4,900 meters in their sleeping altitude. 17 days were spent climbing and 13 days resting. Within a week of both the start and the end of the expeditions, the 9 men and 1 woman were tested at 100-meter altitude. Test includes body composition, blood measures, and 2 exercise tests. One was a graded maximal cycling protocol to test aerobic capacity. The other was a 30-second Wingate cycling sprint to test anaerobic capacity. This table summarizes the main measures in each test category. Surprisingly, body mass and fat-free mass, which is often used as a measure of muscle mass, stayed similar before and after. However, the absolute and percentage of body fat dropped as the body burned a huge amount of fat to sustain energy. Also surprisingly, blood measures stayed similar, which is opposite to the common trend of greater red blood cell production when athletes go to altitude camps at moderate altitudes of about 2,500 meters. While aerobic power and VO2 max are greatly reduced at altitude, they remain stable upon return to sea level. What did drop, however, was anaerobic threshold and capacity. This meant that the climbers switched to relying on anaerobic energy production at lighter levels of exercise, and also that they were less able to perform very intense exercise. The biggest surprise of this study is the lack of decrease in body mass. However, looking closer at the data, fat-free mass did drop 2.5 kilograms, which is quite high even if not statistically significant. Indeed, the amount of fat-free mass decrease was actually more than that found in the statistically significant fat mass decrease. This decrease in muscle mass could certainly help to explain the decrease in anaerobic capacity, along with the muscle itself possibly specializing more towards aerobic than anaerobic metabolism over the course of the expedition. Overall, expedition studies like this can be very hard to compare to each other, as each expedition is unique in terms of weather conditions and temperatures, the time spent up at altitude, so therefore the dose of oxygen, and also the style of expedition. However, they are invaluable in giving insight into the adaptive capacity of the human body. Hopefully you found this video to be quite the trip into the fascinating world of environmental physiology. I'm Professor Stephen Chung, and I run the Environmental Ergonomics Lab in the Department of Kinesiology at Brock University. We post new videos on different topics in environmental physiology every Wednesday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.